Hi guys, welcome back to Falafel React. Thank you so much for being here on this channel. We react to gorlworld content, our gorlies, their schemes, their scams, their stupidity, the ridiculous things they say, their controversies, their interactions with their audience. And today is a little bit different because it's a continuation of reacting to one of our own in the community. When I say one of our own, I guess I use that term very loosely. It's pretty much a reactor gone lolcow. And that's what I want to talk about. I did already put up one video about Rachel React. If you're unaware, Rachel React was a pretty brand new reactor on the scene that was doing reactions almost exclusively to amberlynnreid. And her channel shot up, into popularity very, very quickly. I think within the year, she got up to almost 70,000 subscribers. Her views were doing great. She was very well liked. One of the things that made her unique was that she put in a lot of research, a lot of very good, well-spoken analysis. So I think that's what drew a lot of people to her channel. I know that for me, that's definitely why I enjoyed watching her videos. I felt like watching her videos was like going to an academic source on Amberlynn. I felt like everything would be fact-checked. It would be laid out very nicely. I really enjoyed the way that she spoke and laid things out. And so that's personally why I enjoyed watching her channel. And even in some of my videos, I shouted her out. Not that she needed me to shout her out, but I would say this is where I got this from, and this is the content that I enjoy, blah, blah, blah. Now, yeah, girl world is strange. I mean, there is girl world, the girls that we react to, and then there is the other part of the strange symbiotic relationship, and that is the reactors. And I think everything that's going on right now with Rachel Reacts and her channel, all the controversies, the leaked Discord, the leaked group chats that showcase kind of like a money-hungry, unethical approach to getting and then reporting on tea, in quotes. I think that it's just a very interesting point, and I think it's worth pausing and talking about, because maybe if you're only on the viewer side, there are some things that you wouldn't necessarily think of as it overlaps to reactors. And I don't know, I just think that this is a good moment to stop and to reflect on what we're doing, why we're doing it. There are a lot of silent rules, I guess is what I will say. I feel like there are unofficial silent rules to being a reactor. And I feel like there are things that an audience will withstand, and there are things that an audience is not okay with. And there's a way in which the audience responds fairly. And then there's a way in which the audience makes no sense. And I say that as an audience member myself. So I kind of want to talk about all of those things. It's not going to be a terribly long video. We're just going to go over a few more leaked Discord messages that have not been seen before. If you watched Charlie Gold's coverage of this, then you would have seen a lot of this, but I just want to read through some of it, talk about it, and watch a little bit of Rachel's exposing everything video, just a few minutes, because I think that going to the source, in this case, Rachel, and listening to how she talks about her methods is just very interesting. It's definitely what she did was a choice, and she seems to be mostly sticking by that choice. So what are you gonna do? Okay, so what I have pulled up here, well, we're gonna go through a slideshow of some screenshots. Let me make myself smaller. Okay, now what I want to talk about really quick before you get into it is the concept of a lol cow, which I'm sure most of you know, but lol cow, like LOL cow. To the best of my understanding, this is how I, internalize the definition, is that when you are a reactor on the space and you react to the girls and you criticize them for a lot of the things that we all criticize them for. Their weight, their relationship with their weight, their relationship with their dieting, the way that they treat their pets, the way that they scam their audience, their disrespect for their audience, the controversies that they have publicly with their partners and their audience. When you react to that, you criticize it, and then over time, you turn into that. Then you become like this new phenomena, which is a lol cow. Now, there might be things in the definition I'm missing, but that's how I feel like it applies to Rachel, because Rachel was someone that was criticizing, in my opinion, a lot of the very valid things that are criticizable as it relates to Amberlynn and Tammy and them fighting on the public platform, her ex-girlfriends, the relationship with Beck and how all of that fell through, everything with Tommy, the feeder, with Jade, all of that. Very valid criticism. And now that there are conversations happening about her approach to money and her lying to her audience, or Rachel, withholding stuff from her audience, now a lot of her responses to me are giving very much Chantal, are giving very much Amber Lynn. So when I see that, I'm like, okay, you're a lol cow. So that's what I think Rachel has turned into. I don't think the transformation is complete. I think there's time to be redeeming, and I don't think that this is warranted, and for her to leave the platform. I don't think anything she did was terrible, horrible. Like, okay, I think it was just controversy in the context of controversy online. But at the end of the day, the audience will tell, right? The audience and people watching you and your views will determine if you can make it into, continue making it in this space or not. So that's pretty much the whole lol cow of it. Okay, so these are screenshots that I took from Charlie Gold's live stream. Okay, so some of these might be repetitions, but honestly, I think they're all new. So again, this is the Discord that Rachel was in with other reactors, including Hecticana, Jawbone, who is a reactor, and some viewers, right? Like for some reason, this was not a Discord that just had reactors. They also had viewers, which Salty Crab did mention that when she joined the Discord, she was like, part of the understanding was that it was just for creators, and creators like to ask questions, talk about things for themselves. And the idea of that does seem nice. And honestly, there have been times where like I've had questions about, should I mention this? Should I not? And I don't really, I don't have anyone to refer to. So I just don't, and I do my best. And this has solidified to me, like, I really don't want, like, I'll just do my best and that's it. Because this is shady and it's messy. Okay. So Jawbone at the top says, I think Emily deliberately misunderstood the agreement to try and get you to pay her for all the videos, to be honest. Julia says she definitely got greedy. Rachel says, yup. So I'm just very interested in Rachel agreeing with the greedy part. Because what do you mean she got greedy? You're the one that has been running your mouth about the money and wiping your tears with the $100 bills. So greedy where? Like, you are displaying that. And I'm not saying to receive money or to take money that you have accumulated because you drove ad revenue to YouTube via your channel content. I don't think that's greedy, but the way in which you talk about your relationship with money can show if you're greedy or not. Like, that is not the controversial part here. Hecticana then says, oh, well then who cares, lol. Double check with Flake, but the ankle definitely is public. So is Jordy. And I think that when they say Flake, they're referring to Snowflake. Rachel replies to Jawbone and says, I could not have been clearer. Is Flake definitely public knowledge? Rachel says Flake might not be. Hecticana says, I won't mention Flake just to be safe. So I think they're talking about mentioning, I think they're talking about Rachel potentially making a video and mentioning who else in the community takes money for tea as a way to normalize it. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's normal either way. I think it's weird to do that in any context. There's no need for it. So I don't know why she thinks that mentioning that Jordy and the ankle and Snowflake do it. Now, I don't know. I don't see this response. I don't see people up in arms and upset that Snowflake, the ankle, and Jordy all seemingly pay for tea, but they also are handling it very differently. So I don't know what to do with that. Okay. This part of the conversation is really what spiked me wanting to speak on this. Now, I apologize. The font is small, but I'll go through and read it clearly. The chat thread, this is from October 25th, 2025. So this is like 11 days ago, okay? 11 days ago. Not that long ago. At 12:45 a.m. Girl, get some sleep. Girl, get some sleep. First of all, Chantal coded as hell, okay? Get some sleep. Now, I guess time difference. Maybe the person reading this is in a 12 a.m. time zone, and Rachel is not 'cause she's in the UK, right? So anyways, Rachel says, I've always thought Charlie Gold is a twat. Okay, I don't know exactly what twat means, but I think it means like idiot, right? Rachel continues and says, also, Emily would probably have never told anyone. She might have, but the stuff I know about her and the voice notes, etc., I have from her, she would have been very, very stupid to have told anyone about this. So she probably would never have. People are also forgetting I could have just paid her and it would also probably never have gone out. This to me is so Amber Lynn coded. Like, but it did get out. But it was known, and there people are having conversations about it. And you know from you, the craziest part about all of this that some of you guys, if you're not tapped into the whole Rachel drama, may not know is that she made the same mistake 5 months ago. If you go on her channel right now and look at her community tab post and you just scroll just a little bit, you will see a huge community tab post apologizing. She did something very, very similar before. And then I think even before that, she shared some messages that were private that implied some kind of DV situation between Emily and Amber Lynn. And then people were really upset, rightfully so, and told her to take it down. She came on and she acknowledged that what she did was wrong and she took it down. So like, this is not her first rodeo with the same type of mistake, which is what blows my mind. Like, this is your third strike at this point. Rachel, now this is the kicker. Rachel goes on to say also, and I know this is petty, but I make videos to make money, and none of these creators do it for any other reason, I'm sure. And if we compare Charlie's views to mine, I'm doing something right. This is giving Chantal. This is giving Chantal Sorrelt Marie. This is giving Foodie Beauty. She just would say something like that. She'd be like, well, look at my views. My views are doing so much better than Falafel. So like, obviously I'm doing something right. And like, yeah, I'm doing this for money. I don't know, something about that is really strange and really odd because obviously we know that we get paid from this, right? Like we know that there is money involved. Once you're monetized, you get money from this. So I feel like that's an understanding. But to say that you make videos only to make money, and that is the primary reason, I feel like that points to a level of distrust. I feel like that means that you, Rachel, put all of your eggs in one basket and you now need this to pay the light bill, which I mentioned before. And so if you need the clicks to pay your light bill, and I know this is not the case for everyone, but I feel like the best type of work, the best type of job one can hope to have in our capitalist system is a job that you feel like pays you fairly for the most part, but you also do it because you feel like you bring some value into it. Like if you're a scientist or a researcher or a first responder or a professor, or I don't know, you work in operations, or like you have like a customer facing job because you really get energized from interacting with people. Obviously you should be getting every single paycheck and no paycheck should be skipped or deducted from if you're doing your hours. But I like to think that in those situations, there's like some kind of a calling, whether it be a calling to the type of job, feeling like you are improving the world in some way, feeling like those small interactions you have with people are energizing you, feeling like you're doing a good job. I think for a lot of people, those are primary motivators, and the money is what keeps you coming back for more and more and more because you need the initial thing to keep you going. And I think Rachel would make the case, well, that's dumb. A lot of people just work for the money and they don't feel passionately about their job, and passion is not requisite, to which I would say, yes, I agree. The thing about YouTube, though, is that it is so voluntary. Okay, YouTube is a very new phenomena. Gorlworld is relatively new phenomena. And depending on how old you are and if you're an adult, you probably would have had to work before you had YouTube. So it's optional. So you making it your bread and butter, you making it the only thing that pays your light bill, your energy bill, your mortgage, your rent, like that was a choice that you made. Now, as we go through a lot of this, my conclusion is that Rachel must never have had like a job, a job. You know how I'm always telling the girls, go get an actual job because you will learn how it is to like interact with the world that's not internet based. That's my guess, okay? I can't prove it 100%, but it's just giving that. The similarities between her responses and Chantal were astounding to me. And also comparing your views to another channel is like, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, mind you, not like any channel or creator on this platform like needs me to defend them, but Charlie Gold, I can say for a fact, has like a whole like 9 to 5 career job. That's the primary thing. And I think that the value of that outweighs whatever views Charlie Gold thinks that she's getting or that she's not getting as it relates to Rachel. I don't think she even thinks in those binaries, but I think having yourself grounded into a real life, real world thing, the value of that is so, especially in Gore World, where we know things are fickle, like the audience can change, like so many things can change. Having yourself grounded in that is so much more valuable than getting tea by any means necessary for a lot of views on 1 to 2 videos. Hecticana replies, yeah, the people up in arms about it are either naive or stupid if they think we don't make videos for money. I was really shocked by Hecticana saying this. This is Chantal Marie all over. This is Chantal Marie. This is like when Foodie Beauty comes on and says, oh, really? Like every marriage is not like this? Like you guys don't all fight and argue and you guys don't all... well, in the way that you're describing it, no. Like don't try to group us into something that you think is normal. Just because in your worldview you think this is normal, don't try to bring us into it to make yourself feel better about it, Hecticana. Like, first of all, I wouldn't say that people are up in arms. I would say that they're arguably doing what Rachel's doing. We're making a video because we know people are going to watch it, and we have opinion in the same way that you and Rachel make videos about Amber Lynn because you think people are going to watch it. That's what I'm doing. So there's no up in arms. Like once I export this video and upload it, beyond me reading the comments, I'm not going to think about y'all. Okay. So I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read the book. I'm going to have dinner. I'm going to cuddle my dog and then go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and do my real job. So that's it. Naive or stupid if they think we don't make videos for money. Very Chantal Coda to think that if someone does not like live or within your paradigm, share your views on how they approach the platform, that they are naive or stupid. Really, there's only 2 options. There's only 2 options. Like, I'm sorry, money is not that much of a motivator for me personally. And that is because this is not what pays things for me. Like my primary job, my career, to me, now, if you know what my career is, you probably be like, okay, that does nothing for society. In the grand scheme of humanity, you add nothing. You know what? You could argue that, and that's probably true. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I feel like my career is very important to democracy. Okay, this is like dramatic, but like I feel like my job is very important, and I show up every single day, and I do it because I feel like what I'm doing matters. I feel like it's important. I feel like it's a small, tiny, fractional, like you can't even see it with a human eye piece of like a larger system, but I feel like it's important. And so that's what motivates me to go into work and do the best job that I can every single day. And then I like getting the paycheck and the benefits. And I went to school and I studied all these things and I hopped around jobs and I did all, the menial tasks to build up to where I'm at, because I felt like it was important. And I did all of that labor, and I've gotten to a place where I am like so grateful and thankful for the money that I'm able to make. And then I am like living in the stability of that. And in the stability and comfort of that, did I have the bandwidth to then create a YouTube channel? Okay. Like, it's not like I was coming from a place of, I have no money, I need to make a YouTube channel and it needs to make money. And like, if I don't, then like things are going to go bad. And I would argue that a lot of reactors are in my position where you're already in the place where things are going to float and you have opinions and you honestly think this is fun. You think it's funny. Like the live streams are fun, interacting with people. And then getting that paycheck from YouTube every month is just like, it validates the continuation of that relationship. So I'm not saying that I reject the money that Google AdSense deposits into my account, but there was no guarantee how long I would stay demonetized. And I was still going to put out videos because during that time, Chantal was still running her mouth about Arabs and Muslims, and I still had a lot to say. So you can accept and be grateful for money because you can feel like it is deserved because of the ad revenue that you're driving to your channel. Do you guys hear that? Like the pipes in my house. Speaking of the water bill, that's like the pipes because I'm in the basement. So like, yeah, like you can be accepting of that money and not have it be the sole reason that you're uploading videos. And I don't think that that makes you holier than thou. For me, that's just called having boundaries. Rachel then replies to Hecticana and says, if you offered them the amount of money I've made off this, they would all do way worse things than offer someone money, and they change their mind, as they're mainly all mad because she's a feeder, and that stopped looking as likely as I thought so. Hilarious how they think they know everything. This is exactly what the girls say. Isn't that what Chantal comes online and says, you guys think you know everything about me and Salah's relationship? Like, yeah, he's always had a job. He's never paid for stuff. Like, why do you guys even think, why would you think you know everything about the visa runs? There are no visa runs. First of all, Rachel, I don't know everything in the world, but I would not do worse things for that money, because that is not my relationship with money. That is not how I approach money. I am not going to flirt with someone, even in jest, okay? Because I take my own relationship very seriously, so I'm not going to flirt. Like, if you wouldn't do it at your 9-to-5 job, like, I'm not going to flirt with my boss to try to get a raise. Like, what in the, like, Harvey Weinstein, we're flirting with people to try to get tea? Like, well, I guess, no, in that situation, it wasn't tea. It was just, like, I guess people, like, that was the only way to get up. I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say. But again, you're trying to bring us all into your relationship with YouTube and money and your audience. And to that, I say, I reject the premise of that. No, actually. No, some of us have values attached to money, and we would not do that. And Rachel might say, like, you know, like, you have to step off your high horse. To that, I say, no, like, I have values and morals that come from my religion, from my culture, from my way of life, from the way that I want to live. And I stand by those. And if you feel like I'm on a high horse because of that, well, then, I don't know, leave me and my horse be. Like, I would not do this for the money. I would not do this for the money. And that's not because I wouldn't find use for the money, but because I have already set up my life to make money in a way that is moral and correct. And so I am grateful and very thankful that I don't need to resort to your methods of getting money. Like, I'm good. Alhamdulillah. Thanks to God, I don't feel the need to do this, because that paycheck will not incite anything in me. And I'm not saying like I'm rich, okay? My degrees are in English literature, okay? So I can't possibly be that rich, okay? But like, no, we're not all like you, girl. Julia says, let them think what they like. Spend your evenings sipping from bottles of Taddy Ball, surrounded by people who care about you. As you say, plenty of people have done less ethical things than pay a source in pursuit of money. Those who have it, it's often for the lack of opportunity to, rather than morality. I like snowflake method. Okay, well, I don't know. Again, the premise here is that people just have not had the opportunity to do it. You're really trying to make me believe that some of the bigger creators, Charlie Gold, Zachary Michael, Alex Shook, have not had the opportunity to do some unethical things for way more money. I'm sure they have, but in a lot of ways they've not done that, because I'm sure to them it's not worth the longevity of their channel. I'm sure to them it's not worth risking how their audience views them. Again, not everyone centers money in the way that you seemingly do, Rachel. So, and I think it's okay for, like, just own that, be that, say that, and don't try to bring everyone else into it. Someone, I don't even know what this name is, says, Corinna, maybe? I can't read that name. Someone posted a picture of Rachel's wine story and said, Emily is feeding Rachel now. Rachel is skinnier than Colleen, but that gives her more time to feed. I can't. Rachel better borrow Flake's masks, then she's in there. Rachel replies, idiots, haha, I'll lean into it, hilarious. I'm gonna go full Mr. Snowflake mode. I get paid whether they hate me or they love me. This is so Amberlynn. I get paid whether they hate me or they love me. I mean, again, if you want to center money that much over the goodwill of your audience, over the trust that your audience had, over the fact that your viewers, even me, used to really respect your content because they felt like it was very well researched, very put together, and like factual, then I guess that's a choice. Julia responds, as long as they watch you, it's all profit. Well, this little group love you if that helps. Again, like they're so money centered, and in their little echo chamber, it just seems like they think that everyone else is like this and that's normal for everyone else. And I'm just here to say that it's not. Okay, I think I actually read this. Did I read this in my other video? Okay, maybe I didn't. So this is an Instagram DM between Emily and Rachel. Emily, this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure on Instagram. Rachel messages Emily and says, thank you so much for your response. I would like to know that I disagree with your characterization of the timing and nature of the agreement. Nevertheless, I appreciate you giving me an understanding of your viewpoint in the above message. Please grant me a period of time to think about the situation, decide which action is most suitable. As I have stated, my fear is that your motivations for getting me to make that video weren't to express a power play over Amberlynn, with whom I believe you are still in regular contact. I am not comfortable being a pawn in the mind games between the pair of you, nor am I comfortable financially compensating you for the same. I would be far more comfortable donating this money to a good cause. I see that this option is not acceptable to you. Monies accrued in October 25 are paid by YouTube in November, so there is no rush for your decision. Thank you for your patience. I will be back in contact in due course. Now, this to me is very shitty, and Rachel, this coupled with how we know that you view and talk about money through the leaked discords lets us know that you are so greedy that you are willing to rescind an agreement that you had with Emily. Like, not that I'm defending Emily, but not for nothing, you agreed. You said, if you give me this, we will split the AdSense or whatever it is. And now you're trying to pull the rug out under her because you, quote unquote, found some information that you think that she was in continued contact with Amberlynn. What did you think? They have a history of this. Amberlynn and Tommy both have a history of lying about being in a relationship or not being in one. It sounds like you're being greedy. Tommy/Emily replies to her and says, I don't agree with that. What exactly do you mean by characterization of the timing and the nature of the agreement? Period. The agreement was made before the video was uploaded, and you confirmed that more than once. The video would not have gone live without that understanding. Bringing up your own assumptions about my motivations or other people is irrelevant and dismissive. You are basing this off of rumors and no credible sources. You do not need more time to think about what is right. You made an agreement and you have an obligation. This is crazy, but everything that Emily said is 100% true. Everything Emily said in that response is 100% true and accurate. Like, we made an agreement before you hit live on the video. Then you hit live on the video and maybe it's making more money than you like, and maybe you can't stomach that you're going to have to split that in half. I think that's really what ended up happening with Rachel. I think, and I feel confident saying that because I see how she talks about money. I think she really got greedy and she did not want to part with that money. 100%. I'm not sure how this started up from Rachel's response, but as far as what I can see in the screenshot, she goes, Rachel says to Emily, while I understand that this decision will be disappointing to you, I can't in good faith pay you for the video where I shared your story because I heavily suspect that you have other motives for speaking to me besides getting your story out as a DV victim. Rachel, you're being a scammer here. This is giving scammer Lynn. This is giving Chantal, I'm a scammer. This is reminding me of the whole Chantal bringing a child, exploiting her, and then taking that money and coming up with an excuse. In this case, it's not a child, so we don't have that discourse back and forth between Chantal and the little girl because the little girl had no agency and no ability to speak up for herself and probably was unaware of the financial agreement. But Rachel, you're giving foodie beauty. Rachel also goes on to say, feel I have been a pawn in a bigger game between you and Amber and that my good intentions have been somewhat used. What good intentions? You came on here making a whole ruckus to your audience, Rachel, about how you feel like Emily was a DV victim and then you want to share her story. So how can you on one hand try to convince your audience that she was that and you have this alternate side of Emily that you want to share to give her the benefit of the doubt? How can you on one hand say that and on the other hand be comfortable admitting that you flirted and manipulated her to get information? Is that how you either genuinely think she's a DV victim and you are comfortable still to manipulate and exploit her and her feelings to get that information, which makes you a ginormous asshole, or you're lying about one of them. Which is it, Rachel? In light of the recent developments, I know it would be a disappointment to my audience and I can't be sure confirmation of any payment wouldn't end up getting back to Amber and then used against me. I am pleased we were able to show proof to the audience, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to make a payment to you. Instead, I will make a donation to a domestic violence charity. I have to safeguard my integrity with my audience. This is something I'm not willing to risk. Thank you for understanding. I wish you all the best. Tommy responds, and I want the video taken down. I 100% agree with Tommy. I mean, Tommy is like weird, and I will not really defend her in anything unless it's in this context where I see exactly what's being said and done. Rachel, you're a real piece of work. You're a real piece of work. Because how are you, like, once you make an agreement, you cannot micromanage how what a person's going to do with that money. You're acting like you had no concept of Emily and Amberlynn's dynamic. Like, you had no data to work from as to Emily's character, as to how Emily and Amberlynn interact, as to all of the things that were leaked between Emily and Amber. You're acting like you had none of that data, and now you're finding this out, and that's an excuse to pull the agreement. You just got greedy because by your own conversations about money, you're greedy and you would do anything for a bag. And so this is you lying to get the bag. Rachel says, I just watched Charlie Gold's FFG video. Well, part of it, she's so mid. I'm sorry, but the content is so mid. She came for me, so I automatically dislike her. But if I was making that swill, I'd hate me too. She made a video about the Emily shit and was like, maybe you shouldn't have done it. No shit, Sherlock. It hardly needed a video. Rachel, this is you being holier than thou. Because what do you mean? Every reactor makes a whole video on probably things that could have been an email. So I don't... Now you're upset that someone's doing it to you. And I do feel like this is what the audience hate. They hate when reactors dish it, but they can't take it. And yes, you were corrected before. The timestamp for this was in August. So from August, Rachel's been hating on Charlie, you know, because a lot of us have given feedback to Rachel, like, can you stop touching the poo? Well, Rachel, with what audacity do you say, no shit, Sherlock, it hardly needed a video? Like, yeah, I really shouldn't have done that and I messed up, because you ended up doing it again. So obviously you are not receptive to feedback, even from when it's your own audience. Del Quesadilla says, oh, I know she's jealous of the views. Rachel confirms it and says it's been a good week, not gonna lie. Tell me this is not exactly what Chantal would say. Oh, it's because she's jealous. You're jealous. You're jealous. This was kind of insane to me, okay? I do remember Hecticana like 10 days ago, and this lines up with the date and the timestamp here. Hecticana put out a video talking about the whole Rachel thing, and I had watched it, and now I see that it was literal like insider trading, like they had spoken about it, like insane. Okay, Hecticana says, hey Rachel, I'm gonna make a video about this being the whole Tommy Emily payment situation. And I'm gonna say that I'm disappointed that you offered to pay, but I'm also going to point out that I don't know what I would do if it were me. Because honestly, I'm not sure I could have resisted knowing how big the story would be, so I'm not going to be mean or anything. Like, this is insane to me that they are literally lying and manipulating their audience to think that this content is like authentic and truthful, and it is critical. That would be like if this whole video, I put it out and then a month or two later, you guys find out that me and Rachel are besties and we were texting and we were in cahoots, and I put this video out to get this kind of money, and then Rachel's gonna respond and get that kind of money. That is how that would, an example, okay? Then you would be like, bitch, what the hell? Like, that's inauthentic. That's very inauthentic, and your credibility would be like destroyed at that point. Fairly so. Also, Hecticana, you're a grown-ass adult. You're a grown-ass adult. And for you to say that so his whole point is like, he's gonna try to do both sides. And based off of that video, it makes so much sense, because his whole video is like, little bitch, both sides on the fence. I'm not gonna take a stance. And now it makes sense as to why he's like that. Because he was in cahoots with a greedy scammer For Hecticana, a grown-ass man, to actually say the argument that I'm not really sure what I would do if it were me because like the money is so good, like I wouldn't be able to resist it. Baby, that's you. That's you. And I feel bad that at your age, I don't know exactly how old you are, but based off of how you look, I feel bad that for you at your age, you are unsure where you stand about integrity, authenticity, and your relationship with money and what you are willing or not willing to do for money. Like, work on that. Because that's going to be the crux of your argument. I don't know that that's even authentic. I think you're doing that to like, you know, so that you can still have some kind of goodwill with your more subscribered friend, Rachel. But if you genuinely, if that's your argument and it's real and it's authentic and you're saying you have no idea what you would do if you're confronted with like that much money or the opportunity to make that much money through unethical, manipulative means, then I just feel bad for you. Because at that age, really, you haven't figured it out. Don't you have like a whole ass family? Like, not that having a family means that you haven't figured it out, but I would think like at a certain point in your life, you got to figure out your values and your morals. Rachel just replies, says, haha. Hecticon says, and yes, please do. So they're all in cahoots. Okay, this is a repeated thing. Okay, Rachel says, this is 10:22, so this is a few days before Hecticana. Rachel says, I even have the whole conversation screen recorded where I make the initial offer, and I have the voice note from her explaining how ALR paid for nothing. And then my text message is, let me share this. We can split the AdSense in one screen recording. So she's dumb if she tries to lie. Rachel, you're dumb. You're the one that offered money. No one even asked you to do this and you offered it. And it's not worked out for you. You offered the money and then you want to rescind the offer. Don't offer it in the first place. They are so silly. Okay. This is about to be crazy. This was a few days ago. I think maybe yesterday. This was a few days ago because Obese to Beast, if you guys don't know, he does some gorlworld content, but that is not the focus of his channel. The focus of his channel is the fact that he used to be morbidly obese and now he's either like a bodybuilder or a power lifter. He's super fit. He, in my opinion, is outside of the bounds of like gorlworld. He has almost 800,000 subscribers. He reacts to a lot of different people, and his focus is on fitness and health and wellness as it relates to going on a journey from obesity to being fit. So that is like the crux of his channel. And sometimes he'll dip in and he'll reply to amberlynnreid. If you watch his channel, you know that he is like not hypercritical. He's actually very nice. And it really seems, I get the sense from watching his videos that as soon as he finishes filming, he doesn't think about this. I get the sense that he has such a full and abundant life. And that's why none of his videos, like you rarely see him get worked up. You rarely see him get emotional. You rarely see him like clock, because he's just like, I'm just filming this video, giving my thoughts as it relates to fitness and health and dieting. And I'm out of here. Like that is very much his vibe. So he put out a video on this whole thing. And then the Discord obviously had a little back and forth, which I thought was really funny. Julia in the infamous Discord says, this is why I'm watching Vintage Jimmy. Almost everything I was being offered was nonsense. So I thought I might as well opt for intentionally silly. Cassilus says, popular idiot, obese to beast, also riding the Rachel train. I don't know what popular idiot is referring to. As far as I can see, Obese to Beast has a very successful channel. Like I said, almost 800,000 subscribers. He had an insane personal journey from morbidly obese to very fit. He has, as far as I can tell, a very full life that has a lot of other things going on. So, and he's like pleasant in his videos. Like he's not weird. He's not shady. Like, so I don't know. Idiot. I don't know. I mean, he since responded to this and like in the same like joking, lighthearted, not serious manner, because that's what it is. Also riding the Rachel train. Girl, this is what the audience gets annoyed by. We ride all these trains because we are on the Amber Lynn and the Foodie Beauty train, where we like pick apart what they do and we talk about it. You didn't think, so like you can dish it, but you can't take it? That's like literally the definition of that. So I guess I'm riding the Rachel train too, okay? Studio Deets says a 20-minute video could never actually cover what happened, which automatically means this is crap. That is just wild to say. I think Obese to Beast just doesn't give a shit that much. And so he's like, I'm going to film for 20 minutes. It is what it is. This is the capacity to which I'm interested devoting recording time. And that's what you're going to get. And you know what that says to me? The man has boundaries. and it seems like some people in this corner of YouTube don't like that. They really don't. Jawbone says, I'm avoiding other people talking about Rachel at the moment. I feel too close to the case. Fair. Julia says, what I will say is everyone's going to have a great Christmas thanks to Rachel. She best get lots of Christmas cards. Okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't actually celebrate Christmas. I mean, my in-laws do, and so I'll participate in that. But, like, I don't send anyone Christmas cards. And also, anything that happens during my, like, you know, the whole Christmas break for y'all, it's because of my work. It's because of things that I put on my own channel. It's not because of you, Rachel, okay? You don't give me the most views on my channel. I mean, this is literally only the second video I've ever done on you. You know who should get a Christmas card from me is Chantal. I'd be open to that. So, I don't know. This is just, obviously this is not Rachel talking. This is like just in the same shady Discord group. Y'all are the girls, pretty much. Oh, this was very interesting. I told you Obese to Beast did a response where he quotes an idiot. He quotes what was said about him right before in the thumbnail, popular idiot. And then Rachel comments on that video and says, respectfully asking you to change this thumbnail. I didn't and would never call you an idiot. I've loved your content for ages. A picture of my face and a quote I didn't say is a bit much. No question mark. Bitch, that's what we all do as reactors. Are you actually kidding me? This solidified to me that you are a girl. You can dish it, but you can't take it. Mind you, Obese to Beast is like very, like, the response video that he did was humorous, mild-mannered, like not that serious. It was not coming for you. It was another not that very long video. You know, it was like 20 minutes or less or something like that. It wasn't a whole hour. It wasn't a deep dive. It wasn't coming for you the way I'm coming for you now. And for you to try to clock and police how someone's thumbnail is when you yourself, just like all the rest of us creators, when we all pick ridiculous images for the girls on purpose because we know that that makes a good thumbnail. Like, what are you talking about? You're a girl, Rachel. You're actually a girl. Okay, now this is the last thing I just want to show really quick from the screenshots. This is a lot of Rachel messaging Emily. Rachel says, it's all right, complicated as these things are, I'm hanging in. I've just deleted a bunch of messages because I laid out a whole plan, which I then realized I don't think is going to work about the structure. So I just deleted all of them because I realized that plan wasn't going to work. And yeah, I'm happy to split the AdSense on the finance video with you. By the finance video, I mean the one where I talk about Amber not paying you back for the trip and her still owing you money. I think you said you had receipts of her in the same message chain saying she had rent due or something and couldn't pay you back until the first, and telling you not to get the expensive plane ticket. Oh, I thought you were going to split on this next one with the video. This, I mean, the specifics of what they're talking about is like not that important to me. What's more important is that you were in constant and deliberate communication with this individual, flirting, manipulating, trying to get information. If you genuinely believe this was a DV victim and you did this, and I don't know what to say other than you're a piece of shit, but I don't think you even really believe that. I think at the end of the day, it was always about the bag. It was always about the money for you, and you were happy to go along with that. And to that I say, well then, I guess you're like Chantal. I guess in a lot of ways you're like Chantal, and if you are going to lean into that, if you're committed to being like Chantal, then just say that that's what it is. Just say that that's what you want to be. And don't be upset by a thumbnail or anything else, okay? And certainly don't comment under my channel asking me to change anything about my video, because I won't, okay? Now, the next thing that I want to just show you guys is part of her video where she says some pretty ridiculous stuff. So this is her. This is from the video that's titled Exposing Everything with Screenshots. So Rachel girl, what do you got to say? I have timestamps like that I know I'm going to, so we're not going to watch the whole thing right now. We're at 1935 timestamp.
Did say that. The screenshots are real, as I've already said. And I think...
Okay, so just to confirm everything we read, it's real.
This is kind of funny, and I'm going to just touch on this now. So I wanted the tea. I run a Girl World YouTube channel, so getting receipts and proof about one of the girls...
Already you're being condescending. Girl, I know you run a Girl World YouTube channel. Your audience knows that too. There's no reason to take up a little attitude, because if Amber Lynn spoke like this to her audience, what do we say? You're being condescending. You're being smug, Lynn.
Is super, super valuable to me. It's valuable monetarily, obviously, because I make profit off the videos. All of that stuff is super valuable. Okay. My goal is to analyze the girls the best way I possibly can. So in order to do,
how does getting tea does not lend to analysis. Analysis is the process that happens after you have the sources. So you can do an analysis, like you can do it on anything, and how well or how poor the analysis has no bearing on what the actual source material is.
Do that, I want to see the proof, and I'm not going to lie about that. I absolutely do. And it is completely true that during my texting with Emily, I was much kinder to her than I might have otherwise been. I was
manipulating lean. Yep, that's called manipulation. That's called like trying, this is like astroturfing, right? Like you're creating the conditions for the drama to extract it, to put up on your channel without telling people how you got it, to get money for it. That's like a version of astroturfing. I mean, outside of the bounds of like, how it happened in the political sphere, but it's giving astroturfing and a little bit of grifting and manipulating and huge conflict of interest. Huge, like if I were to go and start actual drama with Salah and it turns into a fight between Salah and Chantal, and then Chantal comes on live stream and has a mental breakdown and I react to it, that's called a huge conflict of interest, because I am reacting to a person in distress because of things that I directly caused, and now I'm going to get paid from it. So I went in and I caused the issue, and then I'm going to get money from it. That's called conflict of interest. That's called unethical. That's called like I'm kind of a piece of shit, because like, what?
Much nicer. I was much more jokey. I sent some winky face.
This is just admittance to manipulation. Like you're admitting that you manipulated a DV victim, allegedly. Like that's what you're saying that she was. That's what you have led us to believe is the truth in which you live in, that you believe that Emily was a DV victim at the hands of Amber, and you were happy to manipulate her.
I don't even know if I sent winky faces, but I definitely was somewhat more amenable to her than I could have been, because I wanted her to feel comfortable with me and give me all of...
Right. Rachel, the issue is you've made this mistake before and you were clocked for it, and you came online and you did a whole apology. And then you took down the video. So this is not your first rodeo, bestie. Like
the proof, right? I don't think anybody is going to send somebody else like 150 screenshots, videos, various other stuff without you making them feel comfortable. So I describe that as flirting in the Discord, and I probably stand by that. I definitely did flirt with her a little.
So like you're shitty and you're manipulative. And you're comfortable admitting that. Like the comfort to which you're admitting this is kind of concerning. If I was anyone in your personal life, I would be concerned by interacting with you.
A little bit. I don't give a fuck about that. I think...
See? She doesn't care. Smug Lynn over here.
Flirting so that you can make more money is totally normal. People...
This is all the confirmation I need to know that this girl has never had a regular ass W-2 job. Okay, she's in the UK. I don't think they have W-2s. That's just a tax form that like it's like a salary job. Girl, I have never... ever in the entirety of my career, and I have been employed since I was 16 years old, I have never, ever felt the need or done without feeling the need any kind of flirting to get anything in my job. I've done good work. I've done hard work. I've showed up above and beyond. I've done stupid mistakes like working when I'm not getting paid so it can come off like better so that I can get I've done like dumb stuff like that. But I have never, ever, and I think a lot of people in the comments will agree with that. And someone did leave me a comment saying that, like, when you're a waitress or a bartender, you do some of this. Like, there is some flirting involved to get a bit more money. I think that's completely different because that's your job. That is, like, to me, in my mind, that's not as optional as setting up a YouTube channel to become a reactor. That's, like, that's very much a choice. You don't have to get the views that you're getting, Rachel, which by the way have always been great, which by the way your channel has been growing excellently, is a very healthy growing channel up until recently. You don't need to do any of that. It's like so optional. It's so optional. You either way, you're gonna make multiple thousands a month. So that'll pay all your bills and then some, girl. Like, for you to posit yourself that this is the same as like a person whose job, like an entertainer or a waitress or like a bartender, like it's not the same. It's just, it's a false equivalency. And also, the majority of jobs and the majority of people don't do this, and maybe you've never had a real job.
Do it when they're bartenders, burlesque dancers.
Okay, I mean, that's a very oddly specific example of a burlesque dancer. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I thought burlesque dancers, like, you have a set and you go on stage and you do the set and like it's already like pre-agreed upon what you're gonna do and like people will tip you, but that's because you're like doing a show. Like when I go to the theater and I go like see a musical, they're already getting paid what they're getting paid. But I guess like a drag show, right? Like you tip. But they don't really flirt at the drag show. They're like just doing a performance.
So many different professions.
Okay, you only name two so far. And I don't know. You know what? Maybe I've been held back in my career because I haven't flirted.
You'll be a bit nicer than you want to be to somebody.
That's not the same as flirting to get information. Being nicer to my boss because they're my boss and I need to make sure that when they ask me to do something, I do it very well. And even if it's not something I 100% want to do, I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm being nice because in my personal life, someone just asked me to do something. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Doing that is not the same thing as flirting to get information to then monetize on a video. False equivalencies, girl.
Because you're trying to get ahead in your career. This is one thing that I'm not gonna...
Yeah, but what the whole process from you lacks is any level of prudence, any level of discretion. Because as an adult, you're supposed to be like, okay, there is a way that I could extract this information, put it on my channel and get a lot of views. Let me just think about this for 3 seconds longer because I don't want to be like Chantal. How is this going to play out? How is this going to come off? And is the possible outcome worth it? Again, you're being like Chantal. You're being like foodiebeauty.
Kind of recant on, because I think that flirting with somebody is literally no big deal. I think that people having...
Girl, and that's on you. As far as I'm aware, you're in a relationship. And if within the bounds of your relationship, you think that's fine and normal. I mean, I don't know that her partner actually felt threatened by like the stupid shit she was messaging Emily. Like, that's not a big deal, but... If you think that's normal, girl, then you're weird. It's not normal.
A huge problem with me flirting with somebody a tiny bit.
It's not somebody. It's someone that is a death feeder, okay, first of all. It's someone that you have convinced yourself is a victim of DV. And that's the story that you're trying to extract and monetize.
To get more information.
It's not like someone in the abstract.
Is like kind of weird. Like, why do you care who I...
It's just giving... Why do you care? Why do you guys care what Salah does for work? Why do you guys care about my visa? No, girl, this is foodiebeauty.
Flirted with. Now I understand the argument is that she's a death feeder and that's why I shouldn't have flirted.
Only now do you understand? Only now? You didn't know about any of this before? Girl, that's a lie. You're a whole ass lie.
With her. If you saw this alleged flirting, you'd be like, oh, because it was literally nothing. I just personally think that it's no big deal. If you feel that it's a huge deal, that's cool. That's your opinion. And
I mean, a huge deal in the grand scheme of life, no. But definitely raises major questions as to how you conduct yourself on your channel, and more importantly, what you prioritize over the goodwill and the relationship that you have with your audience, okay? Now I'm going to move down to the end of the video where she talks about some kind of funny stuff. Girl world.
Because you guys have all seen me say it, right? I think that this has shown that certain people take Girl World very, very, very personally.
Girl, you were the one that you were reachable outside of your work hours, okay? If we're talking about a 9 to 5, you were reachable on your devices, on different apps, outside of your work hours. There was a lot of back and forth all times of the day, all times of the night. You were also engaging with this in your Discord. So don't come to me and say some people internalize this way too much, okay? Because the only time I check X and Twitter is when I'm sat here, okay? No one is in my DMs, okay? I'm not talking to Chantal or anyone from that sphere. Even other creators that I interface with, it's either in their live streams or on Twitter when I'm sat here. And it's like maybe once, twice a week, if not less than that. So you are like, this was your whole world. You came in the Discord saying that like, I did this for money. I'm gonna do anything for money, and I'll wipe my tears with banknotes. With what audacity do you say some people internalize this way too much? You are the one that said that you were willing to do anything for the bag, that you'd do anything for the money. And you were the one that was literally flirting with a death feeder that you believed was a DV victim to get this information. And we're the ones that take it too seriously? This is giving Foodie Beauty deflection.
To me, that's not what this is. This isn't personal. You know, I'm reporting and talking and covering.
Okay, if it wasn't personal and if it wasn't that big of a deal, then all of that money could have been donated immediately. We still, by the way, have gotten no update, no information about where the money's actually going to go. There's been like no final word. There's been so much flip-flop
on what's going on. This is something I do that makes me money, and also it's something I find very interesting. If someone doesn't like my content, that's completely fine. We're all allowed to have opinions, right? I don't think we need to be attacking other creators and sharing the faces, names, and voices of...
I don't really get her point with this, because isn't that what we do with the girls?
private individuals during...
You're the one that was sharing private messages. That's what you did 5 months ago that you got called out for and you took down the video. You shared private conversations between Emily and someone else. And now that it involves you, we don't need to be sharing private information or attacking other creators. Girl, you're at this point, you're just like the girls. I'm putting this in my Are They a Girl playlist.
that process, but if that's what you want to do, you do you. I personally think it's a little bit strange, and I've seen the people in this creators Discord, they're all circle jerking and laughing and talking with each other, and it's hilarious because they don't even know how to read a date, and they're all excited, and there's loads of like moral grandstanding going on, and they're...
I mean, if you want to say it's moral grandstanding to have a boundary as a creator, and the boundaries are, I'm not going to touch the poo, I'm not willing to do anything for tea, I will not pay for tea, I will not be in the Discord, I'm not going to do shady things at the expense of the relationship I have with my audience. If you want to say that's moral grandstanding, then I don't know what to tell you. That implies that you have no more like morals to begin with. Like, which is fine. Like, whatever. People have different values, different morals, whatever, different belief systems. But like, those to me are very just basic workplace boundaries. Like, you email me outside of work hours, I'll get to it when I'm back in the office. Done. You want me to work like 80 hours a week for overtime pay, it's non-contractual. Actually, I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to do whatever it takes to get more money. I'll do my 40 hours. Thank you. Work-life balance. I gotta take care of my dog, take care of my house. Boundaries. That's just called regular. That's not like moral. What?
they're all really excited and happy and talking with their Discord buddies about the tea that they've gotten about me, when in fact they didn't actually get very much tea at all. And I just think that's kind of funny.
Girl, I don't, okay, I guess she's not really, I'm not included in this. Maybe she's talking about Charlie Gold, because Charlie Gold has Discord. The gag is that you didn't get really any tea for all of this. All of this! And what tea did you actually get on Emily? Was it worth it? No.
The final thing I'm going to do...
Mind you, she's down like 10,000 subscribers.
...is talk a little bit now about just my channel, my content, talk to you guys as my viewers. So, when this channel started, I started talking about gorlworld, I started getting views, and I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, I was literally like, this is crazy. People are watching me, I'm being paid for this, and I had no idea how to handle it, and that is just the complete truth.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that. Her growth has been astronomical, like, for example, compared to mine, and I felt like overwhelmed and like in disbelief and unsure of at times like how to handle it and how to proceed. And I've been on the platform a lot less than her, and my growth has been a lot less compared to her. So I completely believe that things like shot up very quickly for her. It was probably, you know, when it happened so quick, like I feel like my audience grew faster than my equipment. Okay, for example, like, you know, that my audio equipment, all of that, I didn't buy a lot of that thing at the beginning, these like better tools and technologies at the beginning, because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna need to. And so yeah, I believe what she's saying.
I was trying to be myself, but I was also very scared. I was like, I don't want people to dislike me. I don't want people to hate me. And I cared a lot what people thought about me. I absolutely did. And I was trying to be myself. And
I also think that's fair. Like, as a creator, you want people to like you. You want people to find your content likable. And it is hurtful when people come into your comments and say, like, I get this a lot. Like, people think I come off as, like, arrogant or cocky. And I've even gotten that feedback in my real life. And to me, like, well, first of all, I think that if I were a man and I were behaving in the same way, I don't think I would get that same feedback, to be honest. But that is just how I carry myself. I don't think I'm inherently better than other people, but I think that a lot of the choices I've made in my life maybe are different than other people. And so it comes off as a certain way. But I am very receptive to that feedback when I get it from people in my real life. When I get it from my friends or my family members or like people that I work with, that I'm close with, I'm just more likely to be more receptive to that feedback because you know me in actual real life, so there's probably more to it than that. It's hurtful, you know, when someone goes into your comments and says something about you, but you just have to find a way to move on because, like, what are you gonna do? It's like, it's the internet, it's YouTube comments, so you have to be able to, like, move past that.
be real, because I'm a very direct person. I say what I think. I'm comfortable making people feel uncomfortable if necessary. I'm not shy. If I say something, I generally stand by it. If I'm wrong, I put my hands up and say, I was wrong about that. You know, I love when people disagree with me. One of the biggest markers of me knowing that somebody is a real friend of mine is that they will say to me, you're wrong about that. And I'll be like, oh, geez, am I? And that's one thing about my degree is when you study philosophy, you realize that if you live in an echo chamber where you don't take in any new information.
That's the other thing that I don't understand about creators. I'm sorry, not creators, the audience. This is, I'm for a second, I'm going to defend Rachel and Hecticana. Because I see a lot of the comments on Hecticana's latest video, a lot of the criticism of people saying, you're a whole ass grown man with a family and kids, and you're on this platform doing this. And now people are giving him that feedback because the Discord thing was leaked. To which I say, well, didn't you guys know this about him from before? So before it wasn't okay, and now it is. And that's part of the inauthenticity of the audience sometimes. It's like, things are okay until someone does something you don't like, and then, like, everyone was so easy, like, and willing to accept Alexis, and then Alexis started getting annoying, and it's like, well, you're weird. Why would you rat out your friend to begin with? She's always done that. But at first, we were cool with it, and now we're not. People also do say that, like, her mentioning her philosophy degree is annoying. I don't know. I think what she's saying right now is valid, though. Like, as a student of philosophy, yeah, it does make sense that she would be more like a critical thinker, analytical thinker, looking at things from all perspectives. That's fair.
You're never willing to consider changing your mind because you don't get any new information, right? That's one thing that I don't do as a person. I genuinely don't. If you want to give me information, I will listen, because I think the more...
Well, okay. I'm going to end it right there because that's pretty much all I want to show you, but... Like you did and you didn't, though, because people gave you this feedback months ago and you made the same mistake. So, I don't know. Okay, concluding thoughts. Do I think she's terrible, awful for anything that she did? No. Do I think that her channel is going to go downhill? No. And I don't want it to. I don't wish that for her. I think that she can get past this. Just not that she's looking for my advice. Okay, she's been on the platform way longer, obviously a lot more successful, so she's going to do what she's going to do. But I would just keep it pushing. Continue forth. Don't do this again. Don't touch the poo again and accept the losses at this point, because what are you going to do? Like, you major blow to your credibility and integrity online. But I think that can be rebuilt, because I don't think anything that you did at the core was terrible, awful. I think it was just giving, like, you can dish it, but you can't take it, which, okay, like, maybe work on that. But I don't think it was a huge deal, but I think it did reveal some interesting things about our community that we're not always ready to talk about. We're not always ready to confront. So yeah, and I guess this is me getting off the last stop on the Rachel train. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!